You haven't left their mind, and you won't anytime soon. This person tries, but they can't. They pretend to forget, act as if nothing was ever left behind. But it is. You are still there, in the automatic gesture, in the scent that appears out of nowhere, in the urge to reach out even when they know they shouldn't anymore. This person seeks other paths, finds distractions, forces conversations, hides in other company, but all it takes is to close their eyes, just wait for the silence to settle, and you come rushing back. You return in the middle of the night. You return in uncontrolled thoughts. You return in everything that should have already been forgotten. But it hasn't. It still hurts. It still weighs heavily. It still bothers them. You still touch places that no one else dares to, and even if nothing is said, even if there's disappearance, distance, coldness, they notice, because there are things the body reveals before the mouth does. There are absences that can't be disguised. This person is screaming, even in silence. This person says nothing, doesn't text, doesn't cause a scene, doesn't express longing, but they are submerged in silence, with their head filled with thoughts of you, and this doesn't fade away. It doesn't stop. It doesn't weaken. It just hides away. You can see it, in the way they avoid saying your name, in the hardened glance when someone mentions you, in how they change the subject, or pretend they don't feel, but they do feel. Because when someone tries so hard to deny, it's because something is overflowing within them. This person tried to move on. They really did. It wasn't an act. It wasn't pride. It wasn't disdain. It was self-defense. They tried to fill their time, to occupy the space, to replace habits, to erase the signs. They tried to forget. But forgetting you wasn't possible. Not with such intensity. Not with the weight that remains. Not with everything that was felt and never lived again in the same way. You've become a presence that returns on its own, without being called, without being remembered, without being longed for at times. But still, you come back. You return in the smallest things. You return in the music playing on the street. Come back at the exact time I used to see you. Come back in the nostalgia that appears for no reason and without permission. This person tried to deny it, tried to tell themselves, it's over. But that was a lie repeated so many times that for a while it almost seemed true, until something small unraveled everything again. And there you were, present, strong, perceptible, in the body, in the memory, in the space between one distraction and another, in the loudest loneliness of all, the kind that comes when life seems to go on, but the heart is still stuck in another time. You stayed, not as a light nostalgia, but as a scar that burns from time to time, like a knot that tightens even when everything seems fine, like an invisible presence that no one understands, but is still there. You're still in what this person feels and can't explain, in the thought that arises when something good happens, and the first reaction would be to share it with you, in the urge to grab the phone. And then remember, there's no one left to send it to. You still appear in dreams, on those nights when the body sleeps, but the soul does not. And waking up after that hurts. It hurts because it's like having lived with you for a few seconds and lost you again. This person never forgot you, couldn't forget you. You went too deep. You entered places that no one else has, touched layers that were hidden even from themselves. And that doesn't fade with time. It can't be replaced by another presence, because even with other voices, other bodies, other attempts, you're still the unspoken name. You're still the emptiness that no one fills. Some people leave marks on the skin, some people leave marks on the soul, and you were both. You still live there, even if nothing remains on the outside, even if everything is over, even if the story no longer exists. You go on. It's not about romanticizing what was, nor about clinging to the past. It's about what remains. It's about what was so real, so deep, so rare, that it couldn't leave. This person still misses you, even if you deny it, even if you avoid it, even if you stop talking to me. You are still the hidden thought, the involuntary memory, the name that isn't spoken but is still felt, the space that no one truly occupied. It doesn't matter how many attempts were made. It doesn't matter how much time has passed. Some things just don't fade away. because they left a mark in a different way. This person doesn't miss just anyone, they miss you. And it's not nostalgia for what happened, it's nostalgia for what was felt. Because there are people we love with our bodies, and there are people we love with our existence. And you were that. An existential presence, someone who crossed all boundaries of feeling and stayed. Even when absent, even when far away, even when erased from all social media, photos, conversations, you still pulse. Do you know why? Because some things connect on another level, and it doesn't make sense to try to explain with logic or rationalize with arguments. You weren't just anyone, you were the exception, and exceptions don't repeat themselves. Have you gone through this? Tell me in the comments. Or maybe you are that person, the one who feels, the one who hides, the one who doesn't talk to anyone, but lives swallowing the desire to return. Maybe you are the one who still waits to be noticed, even while pretending to have forgotten. Maybe you're still inside, like a living memory, like an unresolved desire, like an unaccepted presence but never expelled. And if it is you, then you know what I'm talking about. You know what it's like to try to move on and stumble on absence. You know what it's like to smile at others and cry inside. You know what it's like to pretend maturity when all you wanted was to turn back time because no one sees, no one notices. But you still feel. And no matter how much you try to rationalize, the heart insists on remembering. You are still there, steady, even in denial, present, even erased from every path. And do you know what else? Maybe this story isn't over. Maybe it's just hidden behind pride, behind fear, behind silence. Maybe there's still a call, even if it's silent, even if it's suffocated. Because where there is truth, there are traces. There are connections that don't break. They just remain quiet for a time. Maybe this connection isn't dead. It's buried by unprocessed hurts, by words thrown out as defense, by silences that hurt more than any fight. But it's not dead, because you can't bury what still beats. You can't pretend you don't feel when everything inside screams. This person feels even while denying it, even while avoiding any memory that leads back to you. And sometimes they feel angry, they feel ashamed, with a longing they no longer know how to name, with an absurd fear of allowing themselves again and losing themselves once more, because loving you was like falling, fast, deep, out of control. And falling like that, changes everything. It leaves marks, cuts the soul, destroys certainties. That's why this person pulled away. That's why they hide. That's why they disappear. But they haven't moved on. Not really. You are still the what-if that visits in silence, the name that still tightens, the touch that no one else has managed to erase from the skin of memory. And if they happen to see you, even from a distance, the body reacts. The eyes betray them. The soul gets unsettled, because there's something in you that this person hasn't found in anyone else. And even though they tried, no one filled that space, no one reached that depth, no one was you. And you know what hurts? It's that maybe this person lost you out of fear, or pride, or because they didn't know how to handle the intensity you brought. You came as a truth, without filters, without limits, without a manual. And truth like that is terrifying. It disarms. It exposes. That's why this person stepped back, closed themselves off, did what seemed safest, pretending not to feel, but you remained. No matter the time, no matter what changed, you are still there, taking up a space that no one understands. And you know what the hardest part is? It's that this person carries the feeling, but doesn't know what to do with it. They don't know if they should try again, if they should reach out, if they should open up, or you swallow it. So you live in that in-between, in that emotional limbo, where nothing gets resolved, nothing moves, nothing dies, and everything hurts. Did you notice that too? Have you ever lived in that place where what you feel is so strong that it becomes a prison? Finish this sentence. Being intense in Brazil is, this person has already written to you and deleted it, has already sought you out and pulled back, has already dreamed of you, and woke up with tears in their eyes because you are no longer just a memory. You've become a symptom, a presence that manifests even when it's not wanted. It's as if the universe pushes you all the time to remind them, as if it doesn't allow forgetting. Because there are things the soul doesn't want to let go of, even when the mind has already given up. You've become that. Part of the soul. And the soul doesn't easily detach. You can move to a different city. You can disappear from social media. You can even pretend to have a new life. But when something is real, time doesn't erase it. It just puts it to sleep. And then it just takes one detail, a scent, a phrase, one tiny coincidence, for everything to come back with force. And it does. With the same flavor, with the same stomach churn, with the same impact it had the first time. You still stir them. And no matter how much this person doesn't say it, their body still responds to your presence. There's no rational explanation. There's no logic. There's connection. You still exist within them, and that's noticeable. In the way this person goes silent when the subject is you, in the care not to show too much, in the forced coldness that only hides a desperate emotion just waiting to explode. Because what they feel, like, if it explodes, it doesn't come back. Maybe that's it. Maybe the fear isn't about losing you anymore, but about losing themselves in you again. Because you were intensity, you were excess, you were too much truth, and when someone experiences truth like that, the world never tastes the same again. This person carries that in their gaze, in the soul, tired of pretending, in the heart full of things they never said, and maybe they never will. But they feel. Do you notice that? Do you feel it too? And do you know the strangest thing of all? It's that maybe you feel exactly the same. Maybe her silence is the same silence you create. Maybe both of you are waiting for a sign, a gesture, a crack, waiting for courage. Because to feel this much and not live is one of the cruelest pains anyone can carry, and no one talks about it. No one admits it, but there are people who carry entire stories within themselves and die without living what it could have been. Do you want this story to be another one of those? Maybe you have no idea how much you're missed, because this person doesn't show it, doesn't say it, doesn't give it, but you're missed. In day-to-day life, you're missed. In the routine she tried to rebuild, in conversations that seem complete but don't reach deep, in glances that pass by but don't truly connect. You're missed. At bedtime, when deciding something important. In those simple, almost imperceptible moments when everything seems fine but the heart feels strange, you don't leave, and the cruelest part is that she learned to function this way, with the absence, with the weight, with the silent pain of pretending not to feel anymore. Life went on, yes, but it went on crooked, because something was left behind, something that can't be recovered in another story, something that can't be rebuilt with someone else. You were that nameless thing, that impact that can't be translated, that feeling that even time can't clear away, and no matter how much she tried for fresh starts, no new beginning had your taste, no touch had your surrender, no kiss had your soul, because some people just pass through. And then there's you. You didn't pass through. You entered, you stirred things up, you broke it all. And when a soul is touched like that, there's no off switch. This person might hide it well, but everyone who looks closely can see. They see it in the way her gaze wanders, in the need for control, in the desperate attempt to seem put together. She's not. And you feel it, don't you? You feel it because some things don't need confirmation. The soul recognizes. The intuition perceives. You're still connected, on the inside, even without having contact anymore, even with everything saying it's over. It's over on the outside, but on the inside, you still live there. If this video moved you, write a word that defines you right now. And maybe it's time to stop running away from it, not to rush back, not to relive the story as it was, but to face what's still left. Because pretending it's over doesn't make it go away. Denying the feeling doesn't make it disappear. Ignoring the name doesn't erase the presence. This person doesn't need another chance. They need the truth. They need to know if what they feel is something only they feel. Or if there's still a part of you that hasn't moved on either. Maybe you're carrying this alone, or maybe both of you are carrying it, silently. And life keeps passing by. Have you heard this phrase before? Comment, I've heard it. The truth is simple. Love doesn't end when we decide, it ends when it runs dry. And there's love that doesn't run dry. It just transforms into silence, into memory, into longing etched in the bones. This person misses you, but they no longer know how to return. Do you know what that means? That maybe the courage needs to come from those who also feel, from those who notice, from those who, reading all of this now, know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if there's a silent call, there's also a hidden listening. And if you've listened this far, then there's still a bridge, but the crossing doesn't happen on its own. If this crossed your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you know feels the same. Someone who also carries an unresolved absence. Someone who's still waiting for a sign, even without admitting it. Because there are stories that can't be swallowed by silence. There are feelings that need to be confronted head-on. If you felt, comment below what this message triggered in you. Tell me, which part still lives inside you? And if there's someone you can't get out of your head, someone who's never left, even with time, talk about it. Write. Let it out. Not even just a word. This channel exists for that. To say what no one else has the courage to say. To touch where it hurts, but needs to be touched. If this video made you feel something, hit the like button. It's not for vanity. It's for a mission. It's to show the algorithm that there are still people who truly feel. And if you want to keep receiving messages like this, subscribe now. Because the next video is going to break you even more. But in the right way. You are not alone. We are in this together. In the pain, in the memory, and in the courage to feel. If you're still here, comment, "I'm still here," just so I know it's not just my impression.